Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Talk. You want to do some more cooking today? Today we are gonna make some, wait a minute, Brand X tomato soup, fresh from the can. We're gonna make this. Hey, I didn't think we're not supposed to be making this soup today. I didn't think that this is what we were gonna make. This? Brand X? Wrong thing, guys. This is what we are gonna be making today. Come follow me into the kitchen, we'll see how we do it.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to The Talk. We're going to be doing some more cooking today here. Thanks so much for joining us. Oh man, this is one of my favorites. Today we are going to be making a creamy tomato and herb soup. There's everything in this, from white onion in here, garlic, there's fresh rosemary and thyme, butter. We have half and half in here, but that can be substituted for whipping cream if you want to use that. It's going to give you a richer, creamier soup. And of course, we can't forget our fresh tomatoes. This soup, I'm going to tell you guys, it's really good. I've been making it for, over 20 years. Please click on that like, subscribe, and notification button for future videos coming up. That way I can continue to keep making these videos for you guys. We're going to dive right into our ingredients list here coming up. So we've got our tomatoes. I use about 15 to 20 Roma tomatoes or beefsteak, whatever tomatoes you like. I like the Romas. I use those in a lot of different recipes. And then we want to get just a sprig of rosemary and thyme. You just need a sprig each. We're going to dice that up. Some garlic. We want 3 to 4 cloves minced. 1 white onion chopped. We're going to use half and half. We're going to use a cup of that today, but if you want, like I said, richer, creamier soup, you can use whipping cream. We're going to use half a stick of butter. We're going to use about 2 to 3 tablespoons of butter. I just have 2 down here. We're going to use some salt to taste. Basil, we're going to use about 2 tablespoons of basil. You can use fresh or dry, it doesn't matter, but you want to mince that up real good. We're going to do some black pepper, some garlic powder. We're going to put chili powder in ours, guys. I use about 1.5 tablespoons of chili powder is going to go in there. We're going to use some lemon juice in there. It's another trade secret. Oh, so good. Cracked pepper. Usually do some cracked pepper to taste. Basil. Usually probably about 5 leaves chopped. That's optional. If you want to use the basil in there, it really does make it so good. And then we can use some seasoned croutons or even a good fresh baguette. And then tomato sauce, but you can use anywhere up to 1 to 4 of those small cans or a couple medium-sized cans in there. All right, guys, let's get into our prep. You know, I like to put a paper towel down, just makes all the disposal of what I'm not using a little bit easier. We're gonna take that white onion and go on ahead and take all that outer layer off of it. Makes my workspace a little bit easier, keeps my cutting board nice and clean. Set that onion off to the side. And next we're going to get our garlic here. Now I do use garlic powder and I use fresh cloves of garlic. Just 2 different applications. I like the pungent, fresh taste of the cloves of garlic, but then I do use the powder in the liquid soup form. I think that it just disperses a little bit easier into my soup. Still gives me that good garlic flavor. So we're going to do the same thing with our garlic. I'm going to take those 3 cloves. I'm just going to rinse those off real fast and take my trimmings away. And then we're going to do a little bit of speed cutting here. We're going to mince this garlic up. I'm just going to crisscross that into like a little batched lattice and go through and cut all that good stuff down. You know what I love too is that when you start cooking this, all of the flavors, oh, it's so, so good. Everything just smells so good as you're cooking it, as you're cutting it up. Nothing quite like the smell of fresh cut spices and herbs and vegetables and just good, delicious cooking. Oh, wholesome, homemade. Get all that good stuff all cut up. All right, I'm going to put that in a little bowl, and we are going to just set that bowl off to the side. We're going to get our onion, and I'm just going to go on ahead and cut through that onion. I'm just going to chop that onion up. There we are. Very good. You know, and just make sure that you just chop it. You don't have to dice it or get it too small. We're going to deal with that onion a little bit later once we get it all prepped and ready to go. Put that in our second little bowl there. Put that off to the side. We're going to take our fresh rosemary and thyme sprigs, and what I'm just going to do is chop all those good guys up real good. Put that in our bowl as well. And there we go. We start out with everything that we're going to need here on the spice home front. And I'm going to get a stick of butter. I'm just basically going to cut that butter straight down the center. And we're just going to use half of a whole stick there. So there we are. We have 4 tablespoons that we're going to use. What I like to do with my butter a lot of times is I'll just melt that off to the side. Put it in a little measuring cup. Now we're going to add a whole cup of half and half. Like I said, if you want your soup to be a little richer and creamier, you can use whipping cream instead. Really, really good. It's time to get to the kitchen, guys. Let's go ahead and start cooking this up. So we're going to get our pot. I work with 2 pots. I have one clean and ready to go and the other one clean, and that's what I start with. I'm going to put some water in there and get my tomatoes in. You'll notice I leave the ends of the tomatoes going. I don't clip those out. If you want to, you can certainly take those ends out of your tomatoes. I just, for this demonstration, I left them in. Either way, it does not matter. But what we want to do here is we want to stew our tomatoes. So we want to get a nice good boil going and stew those guys up. Our idea here is to get the skins off those tomatoes. This makes for creamier soup. And once you start seeing those things curling up and separating from your tomatoes, that's when you know that we're just about ready here. I use high heat, of course. You want to be boiling these guys. Oh, that's looking good. All right, next we're going to put some olive oil in our frying pan. We're going to add our onions in there. Oh my goodness. It's going to be so, so good. Guys, stay with me for a while. You're going to realize that I do a lot of cooking with olive oil. Love it. It's so, so good. Get our white onion in there. Something about white onion too, when you start to caramelize it and brown it. It smells so good. You can do a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. Get all that good stuff going in there. Start to hear our sizzle going. I'm going to mix these guys around. And I want to brown them. I want to get a nice good caramelization going in there and almost sear them just a little bit in there. We'll notice that the more ingredients we begin to add, the better this is going to start to smell too here in a minute. That's one of the things I love about cooking too, is just that you get all the just delicious aromas. It smells so good. It sounds so good. I'm cooking the soup in the mid-morning here for you guys today. Heats up wonderfully. In fact, it just, oh my God. Let all those flavors get in there, and you reheat this soup out of the refrigerator after a day or so. It's just so good too. And put a little touch of olive oil back in there. We're just going to add our rosemary and our thyme. Don't worry if a few little pieces of garlic get in there, it's okay. I don't like to cook all the garlic in my frying pan to start with because I don't want to scorch and burn it, cook all the flavor out of it. Rosemary and thyme can certainly take it. Right now, the smell of that onion mixture right now is so good. So nice to be over this frying pan, just smelling all that goodness coming up. You notice that my onions are starting to caramelize and darken. Oh, that pungent smell of that rosemary and thyme mixed in. So good. Now, get all that stuff done, we're going to add our garlic in here. Goodness. Oh. After we do that, we're just going to put a little bit more salt and pepper in there. Alright. Then when we're done with that, we're going to get a little bit of lemon juice. And we're just going to squeeze some lemon juice in there. Oh my goodness. Guys, if there was a way that I could bottle this up and just send it through the TV or the smartphone, I would do it right now. Just bottle that aroma up. You notice I mashed my garlic in there too, squeeze a little bit of the juices out of there. So I don't want to leave my onion mixture in there after I've added my garlic for too long. I want to make sure that I get that off. Now I have my empty pot underneath my colander. We're going to start adding our tomatoes in there. They should all be nice and ready to go. Oh yeah, those are good. And at this point, pretty much all we want to do is go on ahead and remove those skins. So I'm just going to do that. Get all those skins off, and don't worry if you can't get every single skin off, it's okay. Just do the best you can. The more you can get off, the better. Yeah. You have fresh stewed tomatoes here, guys. Oh, how good is that? We're going to take them, we're going to put them right into our blender. And after we blend that up, we're going to pour that mixture back into our alternated pot back there. So you're keeping 1 and 2, right, guys? You got 2 pots going back and forth. We're going to add our can of tomato sauce. Like I said, you can add up to 4 cans of this to a little small container of tomato sauce, or you can do a couple of larger ones if you want to, and just increases the volume of your soup. We're going to mix that good stuff up right there. Oh yeah, that's looking so good. I always like to mix the corners and the edges, make sure that I get everything blended up and mixed up in there real good. Once we get all that good stuff done, we are going to take our onion mixture. We're going to put that in there just like so. Oh my God. So good. Right now I have my heat set to about medium high, somewhere right in the middle. I don't want to go full on heat. I don't want any boiling going on. Not too much boiling anyway, but I do want it to bubble up on me a little bit. Now at this point, we're just gonna let that bubble start to cook up there a little bit. You can see it starting just a little bit. Oh yeah, there we go. Make sure that you continue to keep mixing, guys. Get all your corners, all your edges real good. Cook with love. Don't rush it. Just cook with some good TLC. Your food and your guests that eat it will thank you. We're going to do our final blend here. So we're going to take that same mixture. We're going to blend it up now. We want to puree it to no end. Just blend it up real good. Blending up all those onions, garlic. We're just liquefying it in there. Once we're all done with that, we're going to pour that back into our other alternated pot. Oh yeah. Oh. It's getting a beautiful color, all that onion and tomato pureed in there. And we're going to add our butter in there. That's our half stick melted down. We want to mix that around in there real good. And we're going to add our half and half in here. And like I said, remember, if you want creamier soup, add your whipping cream. We're going to put that in there. You look at that and you say, God, how can that get any creamier than what it already is? Oh, it's so good. It can. It can get a little bit smoother if you take the ends of those tomatoes out and you add your whipping cream in there. This is going to be so, so good. Go on ahead and do your entire mixture all the way around. Mixing in that half and half, mixing in that butter. Yeah, we're just going to let that go on ahead and do a little bit of cooking. We're going to add a few more ingredients like some salt and some pepper. Now at this point, guys, what I'm going to do is get a little bit of garlic powder. Remember I said I do like to use some garlic powder in there. I like the way that the garlic powder disperses in my final product here. Gives me some good garlic flavor. Mix all that good stuff around. Alright, next we are going to add some dried basil in there. Now, you can use fresh basil if you want to. It's perfectly okay. This is just what I had on my shelf. Comes out delicious. I'm going to mix that basil around in there. This is already starting to just... I want to start eating it right now, guys. So, so good. Got a little bit of chili powder that's going to go in there. I can't cook without using a little bit of chili powder. Love putting that in there. Doesn't add a lot of heat, but it does give it a little bit of a unique flavor. That mixed with a little bit of lemon juice in there too. So good. Once we have that where we want it, guess what? It's time to plate it up. I use a nice shallow bowl here and get a good ladle full. Look at how that just pours up in there. Oh, so, so good. Got 3 ladlefuls of goodness in there, I'm telling you. Now you can put a little bit of fresh basil on top of that or serve it with a nice French baguette on the side. I'm just going to use a little bit of fresh cracked pepper in there. I like the in-your-face flavor of fresh cracked pepper. It's so good. Hope you guys enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. It was fun cooking with you today. If you liked the video, please click on that like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for future videos. And until then, happy eating.